This tutorial I'm going to show you how to touch up old black and white family photos, remove blemishes and scratches and make cracks if there are any in the photo disappear. Now we'll also remove handwritten text across the photo and replace it with typed colored text embedded in the image, all using Photoshop Elements version 9 on a Mac. After saving the corrected image out as a new file, we're going to open that new file's information window and type into it any notes someone may have written on the back of the photo. And this way, you'll be preserving everything that was on the original print. Okay, let's get started, and we're going to open up Photoshop Elements 9 right there. And the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this image, and we're going to bring in a new image. So we'll just say File, Open. And I already have a folder here, and I believe it's this photo we want to open. There we go. All right, now the first thing we want to do, I'm going to show you something. We're going to go to View, Rulers, which is Shift Command R if you want to use a keyboard command, or you can just click here in the view window to turn the rulers on. Now for some reason, our image just disappeared. I don't know why it did that. Okay, so it's acting a little wonky. Maybe that's why it's such an old version. All right, so we're going to quit and we're going to start all over again. Yes, I know you screwed up. All right, here we go. Let's try reopening Photoshop Elements 9. Sometimes these older programs can be a little wonky because the computers are newer and the way these were built originally, they tend to destabilize over time, which is why I always urge people to get updates for their software. All right, so anyhow, here our rulers are showing, and you can see this image, there's the 0 mark. So this image is 1, 2, 3, about 3.5 inches wide. It is a really tiny picture. But if you'll notice, 1945 is when it was taken. Back in those days, personal photography was kind of expensive, so they made the prints rather small. That said, before I go on, one other thing. With rulers, the thing is you can use them as guidelines, and you just very easily take and put your cursor right there in the ruler, click, hold, drag, and you can, if you want to align something or whatever, drag, release. There we go, and we get this nice line. You can also pull one out from the side if you want to get to a particular area. Sometimes this helps if you're planning to crop an image and you want to be specific about where to put the crop tool. That said, I'm going to undo that, and let's see, whoops. I want to undo new guide. There we go. There we go. All right, so we got rid of that. Now, as I said, the rulers are based upon the current resolution of the image. And if we go ahead and we check that, we'll go into Image, Resize, and go to image size, and we'll bring up this window, and you will note that the resolution of this particular image is 600 dpi. Now when you have old photos, particularly when they're small images like this one is, only 3.5 inches wide, you want to scan at a higher resolution. Why? Well, if we were to print this image at 600 dpi, we would get a print the exact same size as the original, roughly 3.5 by 2.5 inches. However, this is why we want to print it at a higher, or we want to scan it at a higher resolution. If we have constrained proportions checked, as it is here, and we click in this box, and notice that all three of these boxes are hooked together, okay? They're synced together. So a change in one will change the others proportionately. It constrains them. If we print this same image at 300 dpi, watch what happens to the width and height of the print. we'll type in 300. And now, if we print it at 300 dpi, we get a 5 by 7 inch print of the image. You get the idea? Now, most times you want to print at 300 is actually high quality for a print. You can go down to probably, it's safe to go down to maybe 150. If we went to 150, we would get a huge print. Let's type in 150 there, and you'll notice we'll get a 10 by 14 image, which not many printers can print that size. So that would be overkill on that one. So 300's enough right there, and we could print this out as a 5 by 7 if it's a really good photo that we want to save and print multiples of to give off to family and friends. That said, we're going to go back to 600 and just leave it where it is, and we'll just hit cancel and we'll leave it at 600. Okay, so there we go. Now, let's see, where do we want to go now? It's time to fix this photo. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to Enhance, Adjust Lighting, and we're going to go to Levels. And it brings up this nice little dialog box over here. And what I want to call your attention to, although we can adjust these by pulling that in, pulling this in, and it would compress the ratio of blacks to whites, we can do it a much easier way here and a much quicker way. And watch this. If we want to get some pure whites, for instance, on this print, we know that the frame around the image should be pure white. And obviously it has grayed over the years. So let's get our what's called the white point tool. All right, this is the black point, this is the mid-gray gray point in the middle. And this is a black and white image TIFF file, by the way. And we'll just click the white point tool. And we just take it, and it looks like a little eyedropper. And we'll go to an area where it's really dark. Like here, it looks like it's a fingerprint. And we'll just position it there over that area and click. And look at that. It turns all these grayish areas into pure white. Now, obviously that really wiped out the picture a little bit. So let's go, and we're going to use our sliders to, if we can get the slider to move, come on, come on, come on. There we go. And see, as they come down, you can see it adjusting the image now. All right. And let's get it to something real comfortable. Let's say, I like it right about there. We got some nice grays in his uniform. Okay, and let's get rid of some of these highlights by pulling down the whites a little more. Let's see what happens if we can grab this one on the white side. And I keep clicking and trying, but for some reason, there we go. And see, we can adjust the whites so it's not quite black. If we go all the way to the right, you see we get that gray back. Remember when we used the white point tool? So let's just, let's ease it up just right. I kind of like it right about there. And then you can play with the midtones a little bit, which would be this one in the middle. If I can grab the slider, again, I'm having trouble getting it. All right. It's really being stubborn. There we go. All right, see, and that's adjusting the midtones. And I'm going to put it right about there. Okay, right there. And we're going to click OK. We're going to call that good for now. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here to Enhance again. Again, Adjust Lighting. And this time we're going to choose Brightness and Contrast. And it kind of gives us a little more control over the image. So we'll play with the contrast first. Boy, it really doesn't want to grab. There we go. And see? There we go. So we can darken a little, lighten it a little. And I'm just sliding that back and forth. So I kind of like it right about there. And as far as brightness, let's dial that down a shade. If I can get that tool, you have to just keep trying. Eventually, it will happen. The other reason is I've enlarged my cursor, so because my cursor looks larger on my screen, there we go. It's having a hard time. All right, I don't want to bring that down too far because it's killing off the white point that I did before. And I'd say we're in pretty good shape right about there. All right, we're going to click OK. That looks pretty good. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, you'll notice there's a big scratch across this fella's face, and we want to get rid of that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to zoom into that area. And to zoom in, we're going to use the zoom tool, which is right here in the toolbox, or we can just type the Z key. All right, and we hit Z, and now we have this. Now the area we want to work on is right in here. So we just click, hold, and drag like so, and boom, we go right into the area we want to fix. Got that? All right. So the next thing we want to get is our, oh my goodness, what do you call this rascal over here? That's what I want to use. Spot healing brush. All right, I forget sometimes. And you can pull up the spot healing brush by typing the letter J. However, if that's not the tool you're seeing, it's because you see this little black point here in the bottom of the icon for the tool. You click and hold on that. Whoops, hit the wrong one. There we go. And notice there's two of them. There's the spot healing brush and the healing brush tool. We want the spot healing brush, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so now we got a healing brush here. However, we do not want an area that large because it would it would double his eyeballs and put it over here. It's not a good idea. So what we do is we look at your keyboard and you find your bracket keys, okay? And the left bracket key, which I'll start typing now, there we go, makes the brush smaller, which is what we're trying to do. And if you use the right bracket key, click, click, click on the key, and see if you can enlarge the brush. What we want is we want a very small brush, and we're going to go down to about there, maybe just a smidge larger. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to click here and click and release, boom. And then I'm going to come down to here because it's a straight line, and now I'm going to hold down the shift key. Boom, and there you go, it's gone. Likewise, I'm going to click again here. I'm going to shift click here. I'm going to shift click here, and the scratch is gone. Now, to move the image around a little bit, there's a few other places it could be fixed. I'm going to hold down my space bar, which will change everything to a hand tool, so I can grab, hold, and drag my image. Now here's another scratch we want to get rid of, and that's a little smaller, so I'm going to use my bracket key to make it even finer. A little bigger. There we go. So I'll click here, and then I'm going to shift click here, and it's not quite gone, and I can click and drag over it as well. There we go. All gone. Appears to be another blemish. Here I'm just going to click, hold, and drag over it, and then release. So here we go. I want to get rid of that. Boom, and release, and this is what the spot healing tool does. It gets rid of a lot of this stuff. Here's another one. Let me make this a little smaller, and we'll go, there we go, and release, all gone. And here, and I'm going to shift click, all gone. I'm going to go here, I'm going to shift click, all gone. Well, not quite all gone. My brush is probably a little too small. So shift click again over here. There it goes. All right, so now I'm using the command key and the minus key to zoom out. And I'm going to take a look and see if there's any more blemishes in here that we want to correct. Now, actually there is, and it's right here. That is an actual crack in the image. So again, I'm going to use the Command plus key to zoom in. Let's see, you got more than one way to zoom in. And you can see that crack going right through the surface of the image. So let's get us a bigger brush by using the right bracket key right there. And we're going to start here. Click, shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, and get rid of that one. And let's get some of the smudge out of here. There we go. Now we can also clean this up over in here. So watch this. Here we go. So I'm just holding the mouse key down as I draw around the area. Now I'm going to fill that in. Now we don't know if this is going to work right or whether it's going to copy from areas we don't want. So be prepared to undo what you just did. Okay, so we're getting that filled in there. And you just keep painting with it. Remember, don't let go of the mouse. If you let go of the mouse, it's going to perform the action. So you have to keep it held down the whole time while you're doing this. And here we go, over to here. We're almost done. And there we go. And now we're going to release. Boom. Did a pretty good job. I got a little too much white here, but that's okay. So let's zoom out again. See if there's anything else we want to fix. There's a little bit of a line here. Let me get the zoom key again. And we'll zoom in here. We got this, and let's go back. We'll hit our J key to get back our brush, hit our left bracket key, and maybe a little tad smaller, right about there. Okay, boom, 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 boom. All right, another one here, a little smaller. There we go. All right, let's take a look and see what else we got. All right, looks like there's some stuff here, so I'm just going to paint over that with the spot healing tool. There we go. Get rid of that there. With the spot healing tool, get rid of that. There we go, looking pretty good. A couple cracks left. This is kind of minor stuff. It's up to you as to how much effort you want to put into the image. For me, I'm going to call that good enough. Now, the other thing I don't like is I hate it when people write on pictures. So we're going to get rid of this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a bigger brush, and we're just going to paint it out. There we go. I need an even bigger brush, obviously, but I'll finish doing this one letter at least. There we go. Okay, let's get a bigger brush. Whoops, wrong key. Larger. There we go. See, I can just point and click and it gets rid of stuff. There we go. All right, just keep painting over that. There we go, we're almost done. And we'll get down right in here into the picture. Get the tail off of that. Y. And release. And there we go. And notice it left the tree, it left the edge. It's spot healing brush. It's very intuitive. All right, let's get rid of the last ones right here. Boom. Okay, there we go. Paint over this one. Boom. This one here. We'll just go on over and finish up here. Boom, 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 boom. And release. Whoops, little. So you just touch up the leftovers. Not a big deal. Boom. There, and get rid of that. Boom, and there we go. All right, so now we got rid of the text. We got a nice picture. So what we want to do now is we're going to embed the text that we just painted out, but we're going to incorporate it in the picture for posterity's sake. All right, and as you may recall, it said Italy 1945. So the first thing we have to keep in mind is this is a black and white image. Well, we want to create some nice red text, and we can't very well do that if it's a black and white image. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up here to Image. We're going to choose Mode right here, and we are going to convert our grayscale image to an RGB color image. Click. One click, just like that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our color box, so we're going to get a nice bright red. We'll just take that out of the box here, right there. Boom, RGB red, and notice there it puts it there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our text tool. There we go. It's showing it's going to be red. And I want it to center the text, so I will choose that right here. That would be left justification. We choose that, and left align text, right align text. We're going to choose center the text. All right. Also, it's showing 8 points going to be kind of small, I would think. But let's not worry. Let's stick it right down here. And, oh, actually that turned out pretty good. So we'll type in Italy, and we'll hit the return key, and it'll keep it centered, 1945. There we go. Now the other thing we can do is we can go up here and choose Layer, Layer Style. Oh, that doesn't work over here on this side. It was a Photoshop tool I was thinking of, and it's not there. All right, well, that worked. Didn't work, rather. Enhance image. Basically, I wanted to put something around the text, but apparently I can't do that. I can, but I'm not going to look for it now. All right, we'll just leave it like that. All right, so that said, we'll just click back here on the background. We'll leave that where it is. And by the way, we could get our Move tool. Boom, click that. And we could put this anywhere we want on the photo, you see. All right, you can even put it down here. Make the text a little smaller to fit that space if you want. But I think we'll just leave it here right there. Let the shadow get in between Italy and 1945. All right, there we go. Now the last thing we want to do is we're going to save this out as a JPEG, so we're going to have to bring it down to one layer. You notice we got two layers going here. The background, our image, which we were working on, and we created a new layer when we used the text tool. So what we do is we just go to this little box right here, and we click, and we say flatten the image. Boom, and now it's into one layer. And now we go up here and we do save as, and we'll say, okay, World War II number 7 TIFF, but we want to change it to a JPEG. Okay, and we're going to tell it to put it on the desktop right there, and we'll click save. And yes, we want to save out maximum, and we'll say okay. Okay, so that finishes that part up. Now our last little thing. There was some information written on the back of this photo, and we want to incorporate that in the image without it actually showing in the image, but be with the image all the same. So we're going to quit Photoshop Elements. There we go. And here's our, whoop, my computer doesn't like Photoshop Elements. Okay, so here's our new World War II number 7 JPEG. So we're just going to say, you can go up here and say File, Get Info, or it's just Command I, which is typically what I use. But we'll do it the hard way and do that. And now you have a little section right in here. It brings it up. It's a 1.7 megabyte JPEG. Okay. It tells you the size, 2000 by 1500 pixels. It's an RGB, and here's the name of the file. We don't want to hide the extension, but in here is a comment section. And right here, you just click in that box, and on the back of this photo that I scanned, it says, and I'm just going to start typing, squint eyes, May 1945, comma, HQ 49th quartermaster area. Okay, and that's it. And we can close that. And now, anytime you want additional info on the photo, you just click on the photo, hit Command I, and look at that. Squint eyes, May 1945, headquarters 49th quartermaster area, and Italy 1945 is in the image itself. We've saved it all. And folks, that's the end of this tutorial. Hope you learned something. Enjoy.